Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is iGoRawr and welcome to Let's Auraxium. And today I have absolutely nothing funny to add to the start of this video. At all. Seriously, I've been sitting here for 2 hours trying to think of something funny or clever to open up the video with. I had this whole bit about now how I have 40 Auraxiums, that my planet-side E-dick is so large that the gust of wind it produces when I turn around too fast would knock over small children, and then I thought about how big my real dick actually was, and then I cried, and then I rubbed one out, and then I cried some more, got drunk, and then woke up realizing I haven't made a Let's Auraxium video in about 2 weeks. Anyways, long story short, I'm pregnant now. Also the Zenith. Today we're going to be looking at the Zenith. Let's look at the stats. Starting off with a fire rate of 723 rounds per minute, which is unusual, and a damage model of 143 damage up to 10 meters, dropping off to 112 damage at 60 meters. Next is the reload speed of 2.2 seconds for a short reload and 2.5 seconds for a long reload, with a magazine size of 30 rounds. And finally is the velocity of 460 meters per second and that beautiful, luscious 0.75 ADS speed multiplier. Oh god, yes. When it comes to attachments on the Zenith, you really do have some level of variety to pick from. Unlike weapons that normally only make sense with 1 or 2 setups, the Zenith does have a level of tweaking available to it. With an advanced forward grip and an advanced laser sight available to it, it can have a reasonable impact on the gun's performance. It's just too bad it doesn't have any special ammo types available to it. But because of this versatility, the Zenith is a jack of all trades, and that kind of leads into one giant issue I have with the weapon. But first, a word from our sponsors. This episode of Let's Auraxium is brought to you by Sluts in Spandex Magazine, Auraxis' hottest adult magazine. Available for neural download now. Praise Vanu! So that brings us to our final question. Is this gun worth your time? And the answer is no. It's very difficult to describe my feelings towards the Zenith, so before I start going into depth about it, I need to make something clear. I don't think the Zenith is a bad gun. I think it's just okay. When I review a gun, in some form I take the role as a critic. Not the IGN type of critic where they suck off every AAA developer because they got the exclusive rights to the first review, but as someone who needs to be critical about what they are reviewing. If I see any issue at all, even in the slightest, I'm going to point it out. I mean, hell, if this weapon came with a free blowjob when I bought it, I would have said something along the lines of, there wasn't enough spit, or they didn't work the shaft right, or they don't know how to cup the balls correctly. I have to be picky about everything, and when it comes to the Zenith, it's a lot of little issues. The best way for me to describe my feelings towards the Zenith is similar to how I feel about the voices in the back of my head that keep telling me to send Anthrax to Rel to eliminate the competition. I'm only sort of lukewarm on the idea. So let's talk about the Zenith and what it's trying to be as a weapon. And what it's trying to be is a rounded carbine. And this leads into my first issue with the weapon because I have a certain expectation of what a rounded weapon can do. I don't expect it to be outstanding at anything in particular, but I do expect some level of competence at most ranges, and the Zenith is sadly not this. Picture it like you're building your standard character in an RPG. If someone is playing the mage, you'll want to put most of your skill points into intelligence, the warrior mainly strength, and the bowman mainly dexterity, so on and so forth. And if you're building a rounded character, you probably want to even things out. But the Zenith is some idiot that picks the mage class, put all of their points into dexterity, and wields 2 nunchucks made of fine Canadian lumber. Actually, now that I think about it for a second, that would probably be overpowered as fuck. Everything good about the Zenith has something else along with it that directly conflicts with its ability to do any job particularly well. Up close, its 0.75 ADS speed is nice, but its fire rate isn't exactly ideal for up-close combat. The recoil is by no means bad, but the randomness of it always made me shy away from headshots, so my ability to get up close in someone's face and try to outgun them with good aim, rather than beating them with high fire rate, is less than ideal most of the time. When it comes to longer ranges, it's not exactly ideal either. In my experience, I was outgunned by weapons with equal to or faster than times to kill because of its recoil yet again being less than ideal for long-range fighting. And in the mid-range, it's a small mixture of both these problems. Think of it like this. Picture a multi-tool, only this multi-tool has a mixture of a fleshlight, a spork, a toaster, pool noodle, an air freshener, and the latest copy of Sluts in Spandex magazine, the hottest adult magazine on Auraxium. Over the course of a day, you might need one, maybe two of these things, but even when you have the right tool for the job, you're being bogged down by all the other shit that's attached to it, and that really is the problem with the Zenith. Like I said though, I'm being critical here, and everything that I've listed up to this point is a small problem for the most part. If I look at the Zenith and the Zenith alone, from the perspective of its existence alone, it's an okay weapon. However, perspective is a very powerful thing. It can make a 5-hour My Little Pony marathon look like heaven from the perspective of being waterboarded at Guantanamo Bay. But there is one problem here. Other weapons exist. Which is a sugar-coated way of me saying, "You in Pulsar C territory now, bitch!" This is my second problem with the weapon. There is no situation that I could ever find where this weapon was the one that I would want to have in my hands. At medium and long ranges, Pulsar C is God, Pulsar C is life. And even at close ranges, with a good amount of skill, you can land mostly headshots to compensate for its slower fire rate, something that I struggled to do with the Zenith. And if you need to get up close, the VX67 has more fire rate with the 0.75 ADS speed multiplier like the Zenith has. As well, it has some viability into the medium ranges. As where the Zenith is just kind of mediocre all around and desperately feels outclassed by weapons with identical or higher fire rates at range. Overall, I'm not particularly impressed. Under no circumstances do I think I would recommend this gun to anyone unless they're looking for a fifth gun to put an Auraxium medal on for directives. But since they've buffed burst fire weapons, it's pretty much obsolete compared to what the rest of the Vonu arsenal has to offer. And you can probably safely skip this weapon. Anyways guys, that's it for this time. My name's iGoRawr, and I'm just gonna go send a package to Rel real quick. I'll see you guys later. Yep, so whatever reason, as soon as I go into the first-person view, I get that really annoying buzzing noise. It's like someone's sending a fax in here, or there's like several It's like I have a sweatshop in the back of my Liberator making like shitty Nikes. And that's the sound of the fucking sewing machine going off. Just zzz. Work faster! Work faster!
Plane go down.
Ah, it's funny because we're terrible racists.
You do not want to do that.